You're listening to Good Morning Gwinnett, a division of ABK Media Group, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, sharing stories about people and places around beautiful Gwinnett County every day at 9 a.m. Southern living at its best.
Good morning, all my Gwinnetians out there in Gwinnett land. Is so happy to be with you I'm so happy to be with you this morning. Listen, I missed you guys yesterday, but you know I was in Nashville doing my thing. I had to share some knowledge with some people. Had a wonderful time in Nashville, by the way. They have a beautiful, beautiful entrepreneur center over there, and I'm talking about I had a great time. I met some amazing women there, and a couple of good guys as well. You know, we always leave the guys out, but we had a good time. But listen, it's a beautiful day in Gwinnett. It's really nice out. Like the weather right now is about 60 degrees, and I think that's perfect weather. I don't need a coat on. It's not raining. However, it is a little overcast, but I don't know what that means. Maybe it will rain, maybe it won't. But today is Thursday, and I have a guest sitting at the table with me, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk to her. But before I do that, you know what time it is. It's time for the horoscopes, brought to you by noted astrologer Micah Thyssen. Today is November the 7th. Yeah, I know. In a minute, it's going to be Thanksgiving, and then it's going to be Christmas. Those are my favorite two holidays of the year, so I'm excited about those. But anyway, let's go ahead and kick it off because I got a great guest, and I want to get into detail about what she does and how you can get your children involved. So that's going to be exciting. All right, so we're going to kick it off with Aries. And hey, listen, if you hear me sniffling, I got something going on. I don't know if it's a cold. I don't know if it's allergies, so I might have to sneeze. And because you know we're live, you may have to get that. So I apologize ahead of time just in case. All right, Aries, you have two choices. Get out on your own or bend to your mate's whims. I don't know. Happy wife, happy life. You might want to do a little bending there, bruh. You have more energy than the rest of the people you live with anyway. Watch your weight gain due to water retention. That's what we all blame it on. It's water. It ain't water. It's food. I'm just playing. It may be water for you, Aries. Taurus, if you can put some work into home improvements, you should. You may have difficulties at an emotional level with your mates. Channel your energy into passionate interludes with your lover. Okay, Taurus, you know where to put the energy at today, into the interludes. Don't put it nowhere else. It's interludes today. Gemini, you're best to channel your energy into work. So no, not love for you. Work for you, Gemini. Partnerships may be strained if one of you has been erratic and hard to deal with. Deception in your home is evident. Don't beat around the bush. Say what you got to say. Say what you got to say. Get it off your chest. Cancer, any financial limitations will probably have to be dealt with on your own. Advancement can be yours if you are assertive in your approach. Travel for business will be advantageous. Okay. It's always fun to travel. I did a little traveling in the last couple of days. I'm tired now, though. Leo, put your energy into behind-the-scenes activities. Okay, so this is sounding like an energy day. That's the third energy, right? Where you putting your energy at? You just hate waste, and when someone else costs you dearly, you see red. I understand. You'll find it easy to upgrade your environment by redecorating or changing your residence. So you're going to do some redecorations today, Leo. All right. Virgo, catch up on overdue paperwork. Be sure to think twice before you say something that might hurt your partner's feelings. Danger of minor accidents will increase your turmoil. Listen, don't say something you can't take back. You can't take it back once it's out your mouth, Virgo. Listen, all right, I'm going to go to a song. I'll be right back after this next song to bring you more of the horoscopes brought to you by noted astrologer Micah Thyssen. You're listening to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show.
I know that we were meant to be. That baby, you were meant for me. Without you, it's like I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And girl, you know you made me sing, and you know you made me feel. Don't run away, please don't leave. Please don't leave me. Hey, you know I love you so much. You know I can't let go. You know I can't get enough. You know I want more of your touch. You know I adore you so much. Baby, I can't help myself. Listen, baby, what I say. You know that there is no one else. All I want is that you stay. Baby, I can't help myself. Listen, baby, what I say. You know that there is no one day with you. I wanna do the things you do. We'll find a way to make it through, girl. Can't seem to find the words to say. Baby, I want you to stay. I'm thinking of you every day, yeah. Hey, you know I love you so much. You know I can't let go. You know I can't get enough. You know I want more of your touch. You know I adore you so much. Baby, I can't help myself. Listen, baby, what I say. You know that there is no one else. All I want is that you stay. Baby, I can't help myself. Listen, baby, what I say. You know that there is no one else. All I want is that you stay. Hey, go ahead and call me fool, but baby girl, I'm lost in you. I know that we are meant to be together. Without you, girl, I can't go on. You are comparable to none. You are comparable to none. Baby, I can't help myself. Listen, baby, what I say. You know that there is no one else. All I want is that you stay. Baby, I can't help myself. Listen, baby, what I say. You know that there is no one else. All I want is that you stay. And 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 all I want is that you stay.
Welcome back to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show. It's your girl, Audrey Bell Kearney, giving you the daily horoscopes brought to you by noted astrologer Micah Thias. And we're going to pick it up with Libra. You could be tempted to overspend on unnecessary items. You may be ignored or neglected by your mate lately. Make plans to do something special with the one you love, especially if you've been ignored, right? How about that? How do you make that work? You've ignored me. Now you want me to do something special? I'm just saying. Scorpio, accept the inevitable. Continue to do your job. If you have treated them equitably, you might be able to count on their loyalty. It might be best to work on your own. If possible, do your job out of your home today. It's always nice to work from home when you can. Sagittarius, today will be rather hectic on the domestic scene. Don't push your mate if you want to keep this union going. You might find that coworkers will support your endeavors. Don't push your mate today, Sagittarius, if you want to keep the relationship going. Capricorn, don't let relatives get the better of you. Go out with friends who are positive and supportive. Find out all the facts before you jump to conclusions. Make sure you got all the facts first, because once you say something, you can't get it back. That's what I'm just saying. Aquarius, your ability to deal with others will help you in getting the support you need. You are best to put your efforts in redecorating or inviting friends over. The emotional state of peers may cause a problem for you. Ooh, be careful with your friends. You got to tiptoe a little bit today, Aquarius. They're a little bit sensitive. And my fellow fish Pisces, for best results, get out of the office and do your job en route. I'm doing that now. Hello. Don't overextend yourself in the process. Oops. That's an oops for me. Be primed to use your intellect in order to get what you want. Okay. All right, fish. You know what we got to do? You got to be smart today. Use your intellect to get what you want today. I thought we do that every day. Do we not? Maybe we don't. Georgetta's over there laughing because she's a fish like me. So maybe we don't do that. I thought we did. Anyway, that's the horoscopes brought to you by noted astrologer Micah Thias, and I'll be back again on Monday to bring you more of those horoscopes so we can know what the stars have in store for you. But now we're going to get on to our interview because I have a young lady sitting at the table with me. You know, today is a seat at the table. It's Thursday. And every now and then I have a guest at the table who's going to share what they do. So over the last probably 3 interviews, all I've been interviewing was politicians. So they probably think that's all I interview. But that's not the case. I interview entrepreneurs and authors as well and government officials. So today I have Ms. Vivien Rayam. She's here. I'm excited about what she does because here's the thing. Technology is here to stay. I'm just going to say that one more. It's here to stay, and it's so important that we get our kids involved early. Other than just playing the games, they need to be creating the games, and that's what she's going to talk about today. So Vivien is the co-owner of Code Ninjas here in Snellville, Georgia. Thank you so much for being here with me this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So now tell us a little bit about you. I know that you have Code Ninja, but what did you do before you started Code Ninja?
So before Code Ninjas, I worked in the nonprofit field for about 15 years. I also worked in television for a little bit before then. So I've spent a lot of time on the media side, program management, operations. So I handle all of the sort of the back-end operations, business management for Code Ninjas.
So now with your previous background in nonprofit, what type of things did you do there?
So I did grant writing. I did program management. I ran a very large program that helped individuals who were facing foreclosure, mitigate foreclosure through funds that we got through the government. I worked in government. I worked for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. I've worked on the state side in Rhode Island. So I've done a couple of different things.
Cool. So she has a wealth of experience, but now she's transferring it over to help our children to learn how to use some of this experience she has, and also these amazing tools. So now what made you decide to start a Code Ninja franchise?
Well, this is a brainchild of my husband and I. So my husband is a veteran. He has worked in the IT field for 30 years. And when we got married about 5 years ago, one of the things that we always talked about is that we wanted to start a business. It was really important that we would leave a legacy for our children. And we would try to figure out what was the best business for us. And so, he has the IT background. When we did some research and we looked at what were some of the gaps in the education field, STEM-related subjects kept coming up. I looked at research and found out that in China, kids were learning coding in preschool.
Wow.
In the UK, they're learning it in elementary school. Wow. But then when I started to look at what we were offering our children in the U.S., there was a huge gap.
Wow. A
lot of schools aren't offering it. Teachers, as I talked to them locally, they talked about the fact that, hey, I have to teach these kids to prepare them for the test, right? The test is the priority. And even if they do offer, some type of STEM-related activity or even coding, it's very limited. And so to learn coding, it has to be a program where a child is participating in a regular basis over a long period of time to really pick up that skill. And so we saw that gap, and so we figured, Code Ninjas was one of the best ways to bring that to the community, to provide our children with the skills that they'll need for the 21st century.
Wow, that is so true. I had an opportunity. My brother is in education, and his wife, and she said to me, now she has a supervisory certification, but she was saying to me that testing is like one of the main things that they focus on. Yes. But here's the problem. She said we spend so much time as educators filling out paper that we don't have the time to put in with the kids. And I said to her, I'm going to do a teacher's roundtable over the break because I really want to know more about how that's affecting our kids in school. And so you're absolutely right about that. Like it's all about the test.
All about the test.
All about. And so now our kids are behind.
They're behind, and how are they going to get prepared, right? And so, there are a lot of enrichment opportunities, and parents are taking advantage of them, right? Because the kids can't get everything they need within the school system, and it's unfortunate.
Right.
But you have to prepare your child for the future, right? They have to compete globally, right? And so Code Ninjas is a resource to provide them with the skills. The great thing about our program is that we teach computer programming, but we use a game development platform. So what do children love to do? They love to play games. My husband said is a Jedi mind trick, right? So they don't realize they're learning as they go through the program. But we use a system similar to karate in that there's a 9-level belt system. So they start off at white belt. They work all the way to black belt. The program can take anywhere from 3 to 4 years, depending on the child's level of, mastery. By the time they get to the black belt, they literally would have created a game that will be put in the App Store. So that's a graduation requirement.
That's nice.
So they learn a couple of different programming languages. They learn JavaScript, they learn C#, they learn Lua. So a lot of people who have their kids in our program already, they come from the IT world, and they're amazed at, wow, they're going to learn all of this over this period of time. And I said, yeah. And it's amazing just watching the kids now and seeing how their brains work and what they're able to come up with. That within 3 to 4 years, these kids are going to have these skills that, quite honestly, they can get a job
anywhere.
Right? They can get a job.
Yep.
And I tell parents, whether or not your child chooses to go into the IT field or not, these are skills that are transferable, regardless of the industry. So it's helpful.
That's so cool. Now let me ask you this. So I understand why you chose the franchise that you chose. What was that process like, going through that process of becoming a franchisee?
Oh, goodness. So that was fun. So you have to go through it's sort of like an orientation where they introduce you to the program. They tell you about it. We talked to a couple of other franchisees to kind of see how they felt about it, and try to get a good handle on what it would take to run this business, and whether or not we had the right skill sets, whether this was something that we wanted to do. And the more we learned about it, we realized that it would be a really good fit for us. We had to go through the build-out process that took a while. That was fun. Get contractors, learn the curriculum, hire staff. So the whole process, honestly, I consider it was like childbirth. It took 9 months.
Wow.
From beginning to end.
Well, that's still not too bad.
Yeah. So
I guess when you're doing it, it seems like forever.
It seems like forever. Yeah. So it's about, it can take anywhere from 9 months to a year, depending on, any challenges you have with finding a location and build out.
So now, I can imagine that was probably hectic for you. When you thought about all the stuff that you were going through, did you wish you had not taken this route?
I think there were days where I was like, I could just work, right? And just keep my 9 to 5 and get my paycheck and not worry about this. But I said, it is not for the faint at heart, entrepreneurship.
Right. Oh, absolutely
right.
Not.
And so it takes time, it takes effort, and it's important for me to personally to show people that there's another way, right?
Right.
And so I can't show you if I don't take that path myself. So, I was like, we're gonna do this. It was a lot of work and it was a lot of late nights, but, at the end of the day, we're here now. Right. And I can't imagine that if I chose to stop, that we wouldn't be here. So I know it was the right choice. It was the right choice.
That's so cool. So now when parents come to, how has the reception been in Snellville and in Gwinnett for you having this? Have people been open and excited?
I got to tell you, I love Snellville. Everybody has been so welcoming, so helpful. I mean, we were out there before we even opened, just with our table and passing out information. And I can't tell you the number of people that came up to us were like, so thankful that you're here. Thankful that you are providing this for my children. I had teachers that took our cards and literally sent it out to everybody in their classroom.
Wow.
And so the reception has been wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now, what ages are the kids able to come to Code Ninja? Is there a cutoff or a beginning age?
Yes. So right now, which is our Create program, we are teaching kids to code between the ages of 7 and 14. So this is our core program. Right. Starting in December, though, we will be starting our Code Ninja Junior program. So we literally will be starting them at age 5.
Oh.
So our core program, which is a 7 to 14 Create program, it's a drop-in style program. So parents can drop in their children anytime between the hours of 3 to 7 Monday to Friday or Saturday 11 to 3.
Okay.
So we really try to have a flexible schedule because we know kids have other things going on. Parents are busy, so they can drop them off at any point. We have different programs. So children can come up to 5 hours a week. 2 hours or 1. Most kids come in 2 hours a week. Kind of is the is the good schedule that works for everybody. Our junior program is going to be a little different because they're younger. A lot of them, they can't read, so they'll have tablets. It'll be a touch-based program. We have a partnership with CodeSpark, and CodeSpark really has the industry on the younger side of the computer programming. So Code Ninja's partnered with CodeSpark to develop curriculum specifically for that age group. Okay. And so we will meet on Saturday mornings. We'll do a group of about 20 kids, and they'll have a teacher and a couple of senseis. And I'll tell you who the senseis are in a moment, but they'll work with them they'll do a 45-minute session, so it's 30 minutes of programming, 15 minutes of STEM play, and that's once a week, so that'll be that. we have our senseis who work with all of the kids. And so we use a lot of the same terminology in martial arts. Our center is a dojo.
Okay.
Our senseis are mentors that work with the kids. So these are high school students that are 11th grade, 12th grade, or in college. These are the students who are in their robotics clubs, their STEM clubs. Our college students are majoring in engineering, computer science. Right? So that's math. That's kind of their thing. We have some of our students, one of our senseis is leading his robotics team. We have 2 young lady senseis.
Nice.
One her thing is Python, so she'll be introducing the kids to Python.
Nice.
Nia is an engineer, and so everybody brings something to the table, which is great. The kids love working with the senseis. I like to think I'm a fun person, but they have so much more fun, with the younger senseis. I get it, and so the parents who come in from the IT side, they said, I've been trying to teach my child this stuff for the longest time, but they don't want to learn from me.
Right.
I said, no, they want to learn from them, right?
Yeah,
they want to learn from the younger folks who are closer to their age and have fun. And so the kids come into our dojo, they'll work on games. They'll have a little bit of time where they could do something like snap circuits. We try to give them a brain break because working on coding for a while can be a lot. But we do things, you'll hear music in there. Our dojo is completely parent-free, so parents can't come in there.
Really?
Yeah, it's all kids. No.
Wow.
So there's signs up on there. Sorry, parents can't enter.
Wow.
So the kids, they know that this is their area.
Wow.
So besides the coding, we also do things like summer camps. We'll be doing things like Roblox camps, robotics, drones, Minecraft, all of these things in the summertime. We'll have day camps for these random days where the schools just don't have class for whatever reason.
Right.
We'll have camps, and then we'll do things like Parents' Night Out, where it's just a fun night for the kids.
That's nice.
Parents can go out and have fun, drop their kids off with us, and have a good time.
That is so freaking cool, man. I'm sitting here thinking, man, I have a daughter. She's grown, and she just had a baby. But the baby's only 9 months. But she's so smart already.
I had a couple of parents I have a 3-year-old. She's really smart. I said, I just need 2 more years, though.
Yeah.
Just 2 more years. It has more to do with the child being able to sit down. Right. And kind of go through the curriculum.
Yeah, and I understand that. But that's cool, though. So now, when you think about, because I think about artificial intelligence, are they learning that at Code Ninja?
Not yet. But, I would say that Code Ninja is always changing and improving their program, which is great. So there's always adding things. So even though we don't have it yet, I would think probably within a year or two, it would be something that would be added. It may be in a camp, or they'll add it as part of the belt system.
Yeah, because I know that's like hot right now. That's like a hot
very
button.
hot.
Yeah.
AI, machine learning.
Yes.
That's kind of, it's all that technology. I said, even the stuff we're teaching the kids now, the technology that our kids that are working on computer programming, they'll be working on 20, 30 years from now, it doesn't even exist yet. Right? So we're teaching them the alphabet. I think about it like when you're trying to read, you got to learn your alphabet. So they're learning the alphabet. So no matter what comes up, they'll be able to figure it out because they have that foundation.
Right. Now, what happens when you get a difficult, because, some parents, they just want to get rid of their kids. They're like, I'm going to drop these kids off, and, and you got this little Johnny's bad, and Johnny's disrupting the group. What happens when you get a child like that?
So I'll get a call. So myself or assistant director, Elizabeth, the senseis will be like, hey, I need some help. And then we'll literally sit with that child and kind of, take them out of the group. And sometimes the child just needs a break.
Yeah.
We have some children that come to the center that are on the spectrum. So we work with all kids. And so, and parents have been very excited and happy about that. Elizabeth, who is our assistant director, she's been in the teaching industry for a while, and she's worked with children who are on the spectrum, so she's very familiar with that whole process, and we kind of have a different system for those children. So we're able to work with kids wherever they are.
So can you explain what the spectrum is for the listeners who don't know what that means?
Yeah. So these are children who are autistic. They could be children who have like ADHD, just different learning disabilities or challenges. And so with those children, sometimes they're fine just working on the computer. Sometimes they need some breaks and they need to do some STEM play. So we work with the parent to understand what their child's individual challenges are, and then develop a program that works for them.
My daughter used to work at a nonprofit. It was a tutoring, not a nonprofit, a franchise. It was a tutoring franchise. And during the day, there was nothing going on, so the building was just empty during the day. Everything happened in the evening. And I said to, and the woman actually owned it, I said, she wasn't very nice. And I said to my daughter, she's going to sell this business because she doesn't like it. She says, why do you say that? I said, you cannot like your business and treat it the way she's treating it. You cannot. And just as sure as I said that, 2 weeks later, she was trying to sell it.
Oh, wow.
And when my daughter stepped up to buy it, and I don't think she thought anybody wanted to buy it, she fell back. She was like, I need some skin in it. So she wanted ownership. Like, that's not going to happen. But I had asked her in a conversation, because I went to the meeting with my daughter, and I said to her, what do you do during the day? Because it's just empty space. And she said, nothing. And I said, are there any, because it's a franchise, are there any stipulations or regulations about what you can use the space for when you're not in operations, with tutoring? She says, no. So I brought that up to ask you this question. There are a lot of kids out there who learn differently. And then there are tests. Like, I met a young lady, this was about 2 years ago, but she does like these evaluations to help your child learn how to help you learn how your child learns. And so can your space be used for anything outside of what you do with Code Ninjas, like far as education goes? Do you have regulations and stipulations?
Yeah, there are some stipulations. We have some room. So some things that we'll be doing, like outside of our curriculum, is we'll have a girl STEM club.
Okay.
So we're trying to push more girls into the industry, and so we'll have that. And then we'll also be doing a quarterly speaker series. Okay. So we'll have different people from the industry come in, talk to the kids and their parents about what they do, really trying to introduce the children to the different areas that are out there, with the idea of hopefully something will pique their interest and they'll go down that field. Okay. We've also talked about doing some things with the families who homeschool their children during the day. So it's just a matter of if I can get enough of them at one time, then I can do some daytime hours.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking about when my sister-in-law was telling me that she does this testing to help you understand how your child learns, because everybody learns. And it's so funny because now we know that. Like, we know that everybody learns differently.
Yes.
Before, we did not know that. And there are some parents who still don't know that.
But schools a lot of times still teach one way.
Right.
Yeah. And so as a parent, you got to be able to advocate. My son is in a gifted program. He's a senior now. And he had problems in math his freshman year because his teacher, everything was video-based. And that is not how he learns. Right. He needs you to work through that program so he can see it and he can understand. Right. And so it was a challenge that whole year with this teacher, because I was like, I need you to teach him this. Right. He doesn't watch that video. He's not going to get it that way. Right. And he's a smart student. So, you know what I mean? So I know he knows the stuff, but I need you to, but that's just not the way she was. And he had her for 2 years in a row.
Wow. Teaching the same way.
Teaching the same way. So it was that struggle for 2 years.
Wow. Oh, wow. Could he have not transferred out?
No.
Really? See, and I think that's important. Like, it's really important for parents and teachers to understand that we all learn differently.
Yes.
And I think now it's becoming more noticed and understood, because I think back when I was talking to somebody, it was a young lady. She told me she and her kids, they all learn the same way. Like, they have to be very hands-on.
Hands-on, yep.
And I was like, really? I'm a listener. Like, I can just listen and learn.
Yes.
Right? But I didn't know that. I didn't know I could just listen and learn. Yeah. I just knew that I just listen and learn because most people are talking. Yeah. But when it was time for me to do other things, like, I don't have to be hands-on. I can learn all of those ways, but I learn better listening. I listen to podcasts. I listen to people talk. And I remember going for a job interview, and the interviewer asked me, what do you think the most important skill is for this job? I said, listening. He was like, and I was like, what happened? He said, no one has ever answered that correctly. Wow. And I was like, really? Because that's how I learned, but that's interesting. So now what you're doing is great. I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about the Girl STEM program. Man, that's really, really cool. I even, I launched a company called Pod Chicks recently. Okay. And this is before I had met you guys. And I had, one of the things I wanted to get, it's a nonprofit. Okay. And I was like, I really want to give back to girls who code, because it's a nonprofit.
Well, then we got to talk, don't we?
We do. Because I was like, I feel like our young ladies need to understand that they can have a seat at the table in this industry.
100%.
And there's a lot going on in the space for us. There's a group out of Atlanta called Women Who Code. They do a lot of stuff down at Pond City Market all the time. And I was like, I'm going to go down there and take some coding classes, because I started out doing this very long ago before it was called code. It was just called computer programming. That's all it was called. And because I'm kind of like the kids, like, I love math and science, but I was like, I wasn't patient enough at the time.
Yeah, and you know what? If it was fun the way it is now,
Right.
I think more people would have gotten into it. Like, I remember computer programming in high school where they had the big old machine and they gave me a book and it was like, put this in. I was like, this is horrible. I'm never going to do this.
Right, and you got this candy cane coming out. Yes.
I was like, and I remember all the guys being excited and the girls not. It was very clear. Right.
Yep.
And so we're pushing, and it's funny. I got a lot of girls now that are in the program, and these young ladies are on it.
Wow.
Right. And I love it because I was like, and they're excited, right?
Yeah.
They're excited. They're building these games, and there's opportunity. A lot of companies are actually looking for women.
I was just about to ask
They're
you that.
looking for women. And so I was like, if I can, develop, right, these young kids to kind of move out to these companies, then I've done my job. I said when I look at Code Ninjas and, 5-10 years from now, I want them to come back and say, you know what? This is where it started for me. This is where I developed my love for coding. This is why I got into robotics or gaming or whatever area, because it started here. So that's our goal.
And I was going to ask you this. I was asked to be an advisor on the advisory board at Shiloh High School in Snellville, and a lot of what they were interested in doing was making sure that these kids have real life experiences by partnering with businesses. So is that something that Code Ninja will offer too, like the kids the opportunity to create projects for outside businesses, or is that not yet?
So I am 100% open. One of the things that Code Ninjas will be doing next year, believe it or not, is launching a third program, which will be our pro program. So this will be coding for adults.
I'm taking that program.
See?
I'm telling you right now.
Go ahead, write it down. So it'll be for adults, but it's also a program that we can take into the high schools.
Yes.
So that's really where I want to partner, because a lot of the high schools now, I think when I looked at the statistics, about 45% of the schools in Georgia are providing some type of computer science. So there's still a huge gap. So it's a program that we can take in the high schools. We can work specifically with them so that they can offer this program.
When I started building out my TV platform, when I came up with the idea for my TV platform, it's called HerTube. I went to coders in India.
There's a lot of them.
They did a horrible job. And had I not known just a little bit about what they were doing, they could have just took my head off. But I knew just a little bit. Just enough to know that you're doing a terrible job. And then I came back and I hired a coder in Atlanta. Same thing. He put up a wireframe, just a frame. He goes, this is what I have. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, I could do that and more. So I knew just enough to know that you were a jerk too. Yep. So by the time I realized, okay, I'm just messing with people who just don't know, I just need to try to learn how to figure it out. And I did figure it out, but I have no clue about the whole back end. Like, I was able to navigate the front end with all these different tools and plugins and all this kind of stuff. So I was good at doing that, but I would like to know how to code. Like, I just got invited to do something, to attend an event. I think it's called View. That's a new program out. It's called View, VUE. And I was like, oh, something new. That's the other thing too. So
always new stuff.
Always new stuff. So what do you do about that? Because Python has been around for a while. Ruby on Rails, JavaScript, all these things. But then you got Vue and something else I just recently. It was another one.
So there's always going to be new stuff popping up.
Right.
And we're just going to constantly introduce stuff to the kids throughout. So my husband's background is cybersecurity. So he's really big into that. So we're going to do some things like hackathons. And introduce them to, that other side. Yeah. It's important because, there's so much in the IT field. I mean, we have our grand opening, matter of fact, this Saturday.
Oh, I'm coming.
Yes, you should come.
I was going to be out of town, but I won't be out of town this Saturday. Okay.
So, I mean, we're going to introduce kids to VR. We're going to, throughout the program, right, they're going to, so as they go through this computer programming, they go through the different levels, they're also going to be doing things like building robots. Yeah. And so they'll be introduced to other things as they go through the program. Right. The idea is that they can kind of get a really nice holistic view of what's out there and what's available.
Right. Now, you offer some great programs. Tell us about the cost involved for parents, so they'll have an idea.
Yeah. So we are going into our grand opening this weekend, and so our prices literally range from $35 from a parent's night out to $299, which is our fast track program. So depending on whether you are coming, you want your child to come in for 5 days a week, they can come in. Our grand opening special, which will be all this weekend, it'll be $99 for the first month. Wow. It's a great way to try that out. You can have your child come in if they just want to do a month-to-month commitment for $299 for 5 days a week, or it can be $289 and you make a 12-month commitment.
$289 a month?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So if they want to do 2 hours a week, which is what most people do, they can do that. They can do $199 if they just want to do month to month, no real commitment, or they can do $189 for a 12-month commitment.
So $189 a month. How many days a week?
2 hours a week.
2 hours a week. Okay, and that could be 1 day or 2 days. Is it like
you can do it? You can do 1 day and just do 2 hours.
Okay.
Or you can do 2 different days for an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's flexibility there.
Yeah.
And then we also have the fast track, which is the 1 hour a week. This is a lot. This is mostly for people whose kids have just a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
Or they are traveling from far away and they can just come in for 1 day. So that's 1 hour a week. They can do that. That is $99 also for the first month, and $149 if they just want to do a month-to-month commitment, and then $139 for a 12-month commitment.
So the fees sound really good.
It's really reasonable. We really try to price it based on the area and where people can afford it.
You know, my nephew was here a couple of years ago. He'll be 14 this month. Oh, he's gonna be 14 this month. And I said to him, because he loves games, like he's gaming. I was like, listen, you need to learn how to code. So that was 2 years ago. So he came up last summer. He said, listen, I need you to teach me how to code. And I said, really? He's like, yeah, because this is what he said, I need to hack something. I was like, stop playing, man. But that was his thought. And I said, no, you need to learn how to code so you can build something like this game you play.
Well, you know what it is. He needs to be in cybersecurity.
He does.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's so funny because he plays football, and but I really believe he would do really well in this because he's a smart kid. And he plays football, but I think he's going to be more on this side.
On this side.
His father doesn't want to hear that.
We got a couple of football players, so he'll be in good company.
Yeah. I said to myself, this kid could do this thing right here. I know he could. So I'm excited, and he's probably they're going to be moving here this year coming up.
This year? Okay.
Yeah.
So, the good thing, too, I mean, outside of just the computer programming, what I say is that kids are developing skills like problem solving, critical thinking. And these are the skills that they're going to need when they're taking these tests, right? It still comes back. Yesterday was a great example. I had one of our young ninjas who was working on one of the games, and so he had the directions. It's a self-paced program, so they have a curriculum they follow, and they work with our senseis. And so I went and I checked. I said, are you done? Let me see what you did. So he showed me. And I said, well, you didn't follow all the directions. He said, but Miss Vivien, I got it to work. And he showed me. He went through, and I said, you know what? You're pass.
Wow.
You pass because you used your critical thinking and problem-solving skills to get through the game. And so for us, that's the most important. That's what we want them to learn.
Right.
It's not always about following the directions to the T. Right. I want you to learn the code. And sometimes that code isn't going to work.
Right.
So what's your workaround?
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so he figured that out. And I said, you're going to pass for that.
Wow.
Right? And that's the kind of stuff that I love, right?
Yeah,
because it's like you can't buy that.
Right, exactly.
Right? So I love the fact that they think. One of our other franchises talked about they had a child who had ADHD who took their program, and they found out at about 6 months after that child being in that the problems and difficulties he had in class decreased.
Really?
His grades got better.
Wow.
He was able to focus more because he had started spending more time on this focused activity.
Right.
And so his grades went up, his behavior got better, and literally the parent came in and was in tears.
Wow.
For just how thankful they were for having this program that has literally just changed their child's life.
Wow. That is amazing.
Which is always just a great story.
It is. It is amazing. So now, did you know how to do any coding before you bought the franchise? Did you have to learn coding?
Well, you have to learn the curriculum. So I've had to go and do a lot of learning. My husband's the IT guy, right? So I'm on the management side. So I'm learning, and I like it, you know? And I was like, this is not something that I even thought I would like. I like it, and I love working with the kids. Okay. You know, so it's been a nice balance. And so I get to learn when they learn. Right. And pick up all these new things. And I'm like, okay, so what's new? So they tell me, oh, we need to get this. You need to get this. And so we'll bring it into the center. And, you know, and they all learn. And the great thing is our senseis know so much. So Michaela, for example, is building her own game. A couple of our senseis are building their own game. So they bring it in with the kids and show them what they've been working on. Wow. And the kids are just like mind blown, right?
I can just imagine.
But that's it. This is what I want you to work towards. So when you can see that, and it's good because they have mentors that they can look up to. And they really like the senseis, and the senseis love the kids. So it's a really good combination. Yeah.
Man, this is amazing. So tell us about your event this Saturday coming.
Yes. So this weekend we have our grand opening. So we have, we'll be doing a couple of different activities. So people will come in, we'll register, and then we're going to do a little passport style. So you get to go out to the different stations. We're going to have robots. We're going to have the VR machine. We're going to have a drone obstacle course.
Nice.
We're going to have some Kamanjis so they can kind of do this Kamanji attack. They'll do some gaming. So they'll kind of have an opportunity to kind of experience our center, meet our team, and look at some of our specials.
All right, listen, guys, I'm going to go to my last song for the day, and we're going to come back and wrap it up, and Vivien is going to tell you how to find out how you can become a Code Ninja participant and where they're located. All right, be right back.
Yeah. Yeah. Shooting's out there, we like to party. Listen up, yeah, it's time to start it. And I know you got it. You're with me, let's rock this party. All the girls on the side say, and all my fellas on the side say, tonight we're gonna fly high to the skies, 'cause we're gonna have a taste of the good life. Here we go, here we go, here we go up. We're gonna rock this club till it blows up. Yeah, we're gonna live a good life. Yeah, we're gonna do it all night.
Tonight, we're gonna live the good life. Alright, let's go and live the good life, the good life. Tonight, we're gonna live the good life. Alright, let's go and live the good life, the good life. Tonight, we're gonna live the good life. Alright, let's go and live the good life, the good life. Tonight, we're gonna live the good life. Alright, let's go and live the good life, the good life.
I saw you when you passed me by, girl. Listen, baby, it ain't no lie, girl. And I can't deny that your sexy little booty caught my eye, girl. Listen, you don't have to be the shy, girl. I'm not a player, no, I'm not the guy, girl. Listen, yeah, I know that we could fly up in the sky. At least we could try, girl. Yeah, you know that I've been around this time. Look up and down for some to play with. Yeah, I know I finally found you, girl. I know I found you, girl. You got me.
We're gonna live the good life. Alright, let's go and live the good life, the good life. Tonight, we're gonna live the good life. Alright, let's go and live the good life, the good life, the good life, the good life, the good life. Let's go and live the good life, the good life, the good life.
Welcome back to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show. Listen, we're about to wrap it up. I have my guest, this is Rayam. But before we go, any advice for anyone who's thinking about going into the franchise industry?
Yes. So do your research. Make sure that it is a good fit for you, your family, and your lifestyle. A lot of things look good on the surface, but do your research. Talk to other people who are in the industry, who are in the business. Make sure you understand the numbers, understand the financials, understand really what it's going to take to make it successful, and make sure you read the bottom line. A lot of those FDDs come out, and people don't always read the whole thing because they're large documents. But get an attorney, make sure you really understand what's involved and before you move forward. And ultimately, it has to be something that you are going to be passionate about because you're going to give a lot of time and energy. And so as long as you know it's a good fit and it works for you and your family, then definitely take a leap.
Okay. So how can people contact you?
Sure. So you can contact me at 770-695-0255. Code Ninjas is at the shops at WebGen. We are at 1250 Scenic Highway, Suite 1716, right next to Ted's Montana Grill.
Thank you so much, Vivien, for being my guest today and taking a seat at the table. I will be there on Saturday. What time Saturday?
Saturday from 11 to 3.
11 to 3. I'll be there. I got a magazine launch that evening, so I'll be all over again. Listen, y'all know what I do. I'm always going somewhere. But I'm going to come out and support you guys. I want to see the plays. I think what you're doing is so needed in our community because I feel like we just have to get on board with where we're going. I look at China. China do yoga. They do meditation in the classroom. They do all kind of things that we don't do here. And but that's why they're so far along. I know you guys don't want to hear that, but they are. They're in front of us. We're supposed to be the greatest country in the world, but China is right there on top of us. But anyway, thank you again for being here. I'll be back again on Monday, guys, 9 a.m. As usual, thank you so much for spending some time with me. You spent the last 45 minutes with me and Vivien today. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you spent it with us, and I really, really, really appreciate you. So if you missed any episodes, or you missed out my interview from last week, go to goodmorninggwinnett.com and listen to that episode with Miss Patsy Austin, who is running for a attorney general here in nope, that's not true. She's running for the district attorney here in Gwinnett County. So make sure to go check out that interview. Also, share the show with your friends. You can do it on social media by following me at Good Morning Gwinnett on Facebook, Good Morning Gwinnett on Instagram, and GM Gwinnett on Twitter. I'll be back again on Monday. Be safe. Have a wonderful weekend. Until next time, make it a great day. Bye, y'all.
You've been listening to Good Morning Gwinnett. Make sure to tune in daily at 9 a.m. Eastern Time to find out what's happening around Gwinnett. If you missed an episode, go to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com to catch up. If you like this episode, go ahead and subscribe to the show now and share it with your friends.